The following program is a production of Pioneer Public Television. Major support for Compass is provided by the ongoing support of the Leo P. Flynn Estate of Millbank, South Dakota. Additional support is provided by the Southwest Minnesota Private Industry Council, promoting Southwest Minnesota as a place rich with opportunity. Come for the jobs, stay for the lifestyle. More information at swmnpic.org.
Hello and welcome to Compass, a production of Pioneer Public Television. I'm Les Heen, your host for Compass. It's a weekly discussion of public policy and important issues facing our viewing area. This week, we'll talk about how breweries and brew pubs are popping up in rural areas and what that means for folks. There are board members that we have from Take 16 Brewing in Laverne and a brewer from Goat Ridge Brewery in New London, and we'll touch on what communities can expect if a new pub comes to town, and what sort of challenges those businesses face in rural areas. First, Pioneer's Laura K. Prosser takes us to the Goat Ridge Brewery, where the brew is made local, sold local, and enjoyed local. Here's Laura's report.
Close your eyes and picture a brewery. Where is it? The beer capital of the world, Milwaukee, maybe? But how many of you pictured yourself in a rural setting in a small town brewery? You may not have, but Josh Reed, owner of the Goat Ridge Brewery in New London, did. And he's here to tell us why he built his business where it is. So Josh, where did the idea come from to start a brewery?
Well, I'd been interested in craft brewing since, I suppose, the early 90s. I grew up in this area, west of Bruton actually. Back in those days, there wasn't much for craft beers. You know, there was Summit, was just kind of starting up, and you couldn't find anything around here. And I moved out west to Denver, which was a lot of beer culture was happening at that time. Brew pubs were popping up, and eventually ended up in the Pacific Northwest, and that's kind of the mecca of craft brew. And so I really got interested and started brewing, and it started to be a passion. Came back to the area in the mid-2000s to a farm place, affectionately referred to as Gate de Rugen by the old-timers, and your Norwegian speakers, I'm sure I butchered that, but it translates to Goat Ridge. So I did a lot of recipe development out there. I built an all-grain system. We planted hops, started growing hops commercially. So I've kind of had my finger in that craft brew industry, and I got to a point in my life where I was ready to do something to help build the community, and so we decided to start a brewery.
Most people would go, let's open a pub, but let's do it in a more populated area.
Yeah.
What made you decide here?
This area in New London was just starting to blossom, and when the taproom laws changed about 7-8 years ago is when we started looking at this building. And, you know, every home brewer's dream to start a brewery and go professional. And we saw this spot, and I'm like, oh, this would make the perfect taproom, you know? From the get-go, like, our mindset was to build this crew, this tribe, this posse, whatever, you know, that bought into what we were doing here. And so that was like pretty intentional from the start. Our brand, it's a place name, you know, there's history associated with it. We weren't going to just build this new fancy shiny brewery and throw all this stuff on the walls that they do, you know. We wanted to get a piece of the culture of the community, a piece of me and my travels and my partner's experience. So we wanted it to be eclectic. We wanted it to have a story, you know, and people like that story thing. So from the get-go, we were spreading the word. People were really interested. The city was on board like right away.
So you kind of lucked out with a growing town that wanted to be a part of this growth for yourself and for the community, correct?
Totally, yeah. I think New London's, you know, kind of felt that the last few years, you know, and it was a dying egg town till probably 10 years ago. I've been back about 7, and what's happened on Main Street is just amazing, you know. So I think people were seeing that, and I think society's ideas of how they socialize and how they drink are flip-flopping, they're changing. They want an atmosphere that their kids can come in and have a root beer and play free foosball or pick apples in the backyard. You know, they want a social environment where you can sit up here and talk to your neighbor and not a dark, dingy atmosphere. It feels at home here, and people really respond to that well.
You can definitely have a sense of community in here. I mean, you look at the walls around here and it's full of local artists. You know, people walk in and they know each other, whether it's from meeting here or around the area.
Yeah, and that was kind of part of our vision from the start, was to integrate the community, the arts, the music. There's people that have moved to town because, oh, there's a brewery here too, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of like been a ripple effect. We started this, we've shown people, you know, with passion and regard for the community and the arts, that we can start something like this on a limited budget, and then people are coming out, and there's like a community that's been created around this place. And there's all this stuff, people are just coming up with ideas and how it's kind of integrated with this community. So it's been really cool to see that part of it, and that's what one of the main things we were trying to do, is build community and make it a place we wanted to be and I wanted my kids to be. And it takes the right community and the right people and the right vision, but that's been huge with us, I think, you know. And people see that, and they see that authenticity and what's happening here, even though we don't have it's a small town of 1,000 people, but we have all these people that come out to the Lakes area or whatever, and they feel what we got going here.
It's the beer from here.
It's the community. It's the beer from here. There's a little cool factor involved.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much,
You bet.
Josh. That's it for us in New London at the Goat Ridge Brewery. Postcards will later have an episode featuring the Goat Ridge Brewery, so tune in for that. I'm Laura K. Prosser, producer of Compass, and back to the studio.